Morning guys, this is day 15. I've been having some problems with the piano. It keeps cutting out, but it'll have to do. Anyway, day 15, Monday, getting on it. Bit of work to do. Yeah, so I had quite a good practice this morning. Enjoyed playing the Rebecca Clark. But it's making me feel like I might do a bit more later, you never know. Might do some Bohemian Rhapsody if I can remember what I've done with the music again. But anyway, had quite a good call yesterday from Nilla doing the group chat, and pretty much decided that running wise I'm going to aim for distance. So today I've come out to do my active wellness just to get a base level distance for running, so I've got something to build on in the coming weeks. I'm not setting myself a minimum, I'm just going to go and see how far I go for before I feel like I can't go much further, but without like pushing myself ridiculously, so I'm not wanting to do some more. But yeah, so here we are, about to go running. Okay, that was hard. Harder than I thought. I was thinking I might get somewhere near 5k, nowhere near 2. But at least it's a base point, somewhere to start from. Oh my days. Maybe it's the heat. Just can't believe how hot and sweaty I am. And I actually feel a little bit sick as well. Whew. Hey guys, and welcome to day 15. I'm surprised I've got so much energy. I can't speak though. I'm surprised I've got so much energy because I tried my very best to stay up for the England game at 2 a.m. Managed to, watched about half an hour of it, and fell asleep just before all the exciting stuff happened. Great. So woke up at about 6:30 and watched the highlights. So haven't had much sleep. But yesterday I had my first community Zoom meeting with Pernilla, which was really good. So I had an opportunity to speak to her. So I'm going to put that in next for you to have a watch so you can see what we were talking about.
Hello, Lester. So good to see you and have you back.
Hi, you okay?
Yes, I'm great. How are you doing?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Enjoying getting stuck in.
I'm so excited for everything that's to come. I know you've set some good goals for this month or these next 6 weeks.
Yeah, I was just trying to decide things like because I've put running down as one of them, but it's just trying to decide things like whether I'm going to go for distance or I'm going to just pick a distance and try and improve that. Because I haven't got any. I often have other goals like I might be doing a boxing match, so you tend to aim for trying to improve a shorter distance for that kind of sport. Whereas I haven't got that at the minute, and I do have time because I'm on school summer holidays right now. So I could do the distance as well, but
What
we'll
makes you
see.
feel the most excited? If you had to set a goal that really makes you excited, what would that be?
I suppose it would probably be distance because it's easier to make a clear change. Whereas I suppose in improving your speed on a 5k, for example, I might get another 15, 20 seconds faster a week, but I could possibly up my distance by 5 kilometers in a week because I have done a lot of running in the past, just not for more than 5k for a very long time.
That does sound really exciting. I love that goal. That's awesome. It's really fun. Do you have a
Yeah.
clear plan in place then? How you want to go about it?
Yeah, I suppose it's kind of integrating it with the all the other things, and I'd actually started about 3 weeks ago before I'd signed up to this. I created my own 75 hard but musician edition. and just basically replace things like instead of the 2 training sessions a day, I've got to do 2 practice sessions, because you tend to just not do it because you do so much playing for everybody else that by the time it comes to me doing mine, I can't be bothered. So I've kind of forced myself to do it and make myself accountable by making videos similar to when I did yours the other year. But I've kind of booked a recycling that I have to do in 10 weeks. So I've got no choice but to practice now.
So good.
Uh,
That's really inspiring for anyone in here that's been wanting to do something for themselves, but they keep putting that in the back end. Could you make your own 75 hard or whatever version that is for you, or sign up for something so that you're forced to do it? Does something come to your mind? If yes, maybe commit. If you want to share in the chat, you can. If you want to keep it to yourself for a bit, that's fine too. But thank you, Lester. That's awesome. Sorry, I don't know if I interrupted you, but I just wanted
no,
to.
no, no, no.
That was really inspiring and amazing. If someone feels called to do the same thing.
Thank you. Because the real 75 hard just seems too crazy. So
Well, you're doing it the version that feels aligned with where you want to go, right? So
because I incorporated kind of active wellness into it, as well as having a kind of water goal and nutrition and things like that. So it was similar-ish, but just lowering the expectations rather than whatever it is, 2 gallons of water, which means I can't sit and practice for more than 20 minutes before going to the toilet again. Um, you know, so and I think that's always been my problem is starting off from nothing or not much and then just setting the goals so high that they last about 10 days and then I'm gone. So I'm just trying to make them small, and it doesn't mean I can't change them and build them up over time.
would it
But I
feel,
think
yeah, oh sorry.
I've just recognized that it's really important to start small
Yeah,
rather than
yeah,
get excited and say, I'm going to run 20 miles tomorrow and then be dying for a week. So,
yeah. Would it feel like a good type of accountability if we make the deal that once a week you have to give us a little update and accountability check that you're still sticking to it? Would that feel like a support or no?
yeah, absolutely. I think it's anything within the group is great and nice and appreciated as well. So, yeah, it's nice.
I love that. Thank you. I can't wait to hear, and I feel like it's going to be an inspiring for all of us following along and you sticking to something for that long.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's so exciting. Thank you, Lester.
Thank you.
I'm excited to follow along.
Okay, so one of the things that I've put down for my kind of strength challenge over the period of time for this challenge is push-ups. And I'm going to set a base layer, so I'm going to see how many push-ups I can do now. And then obviously the aim is going to be to build on them every day. Now in terms of workouts, I'm obviously going to be doing the running, trying to increase distance. I'm going to try and do that every other day. And then in between that, just make sure I get my steps in and do some of the follow along abs workouts that Penilla's put in the community. I struggle a little bit with the kind of workouts where they're all just written down. I always forget what half of the moves are, then half the kind of moves, you know what I mean? And I always have to go in and watch the how-to videos, which just kind of breaks it up a little bit. And I get a little bit, not bored, but like lose motivation when I'm doing them like that. So I do prefer that one where you're just kind of following along and there's a bit of narration to it and stuff like that, or telling you tips as you go along on how to do certain things. So on the days where I'm just going to try and get steps in, I am going to do one of those videos. I might do odd extra things as we go along, but we'll see. Anyway, enough chit chat. Let's see what my base layer of push-ups is. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, Oh, I'm gonna go with that. Okay. 12. So the other part of the strength training thing that I was gonna do is bicep curls, and I've got 2 5-kilogram dumbbells. That's all I've got. The next thing that I've got is like about just one 12.5. So I'm gonna have to work on finding a base level and then building up amounts of sets and then maybe reps within the sets, so we don't end up with about 200 sets. So we're going to figure out how many of these I can do. So we're going to do sets of 8, I think. I'm going to do them together just for the time being, just to save a bit of time for the video. Obviously we can fast forward this a little bit, can't we? Okay, so that's the first 8 rep. Now, one of the things that I've had for the last few months, I've had this, like, I'm pretty sure it's tennis elbow. Not from playing tennis. I don't know what it's from, but I've done something. And I've been really struggling doing things with this arm. Which is why, another reason why I don't want to do some of the kind of written down workouts. Because it focuses on body parts, so you end up doing a lot of one thing, or with one aimed at one body part quite a lot. So I'm going to do what I said in the previous video when I was doing the push-ups. I'm out of breath, this is ridiculous. I've even forgotten what I was saying now. It's so warm. Right. Anyway, yeah, so I'm just conscious of not doing too much arms-wise, so I think I'm going to stick with the bicep curls and the push-ups for that reason, largely. Set 2 of 8. Yeah, I can just feel it in just like these elbow joints a little bit. So maybe by doing these and not going too extreme to start with, I don't know if I'm talking about this correctly. Maybe I can just like build up a little bit of muscle around the area that's causing the pain, and then maybe that'll support it more. I have no idea, I'm just making this up. Let's go for set 3. Okay, I suppose the other thing I can do is slow the speed of them down, the time under tension, bringing them back down. So that might be something that I do when I next do the bicep curls, actually, is I might stick to the same amount of sets and reps, just do them much, much slower, and then build up in various different ways, but I'll log it so I know that I am increasing something. So we're going to make this the final set today. So we're going to make the base layer 4 sets of 8 reps. It's tricky to talk and keep track of how many you've done. I think that's 7. We'll soon know when I watch it back anyway. I'm definitely feeling it a bit now anyway, so cool. Alright, well, keep punching, guys. And that's the base layer set for pretty much everything, I think, today, isn't it? Okay, catch you later. Hey guys, well, it's day 16. I feel like on the videos, instead of labelling them day 1, 2, 3 of the week, it gets a bit confusing as to where I am in the challenge, so I'm going to start putting them down as day 15, whatever. But yeah, cool. So this is Tuesday. I've already read my book on Beethoven. Some very interesting stuff on his trip down the Rhine to meet the aristocrats. But side note, I did forget to read and listen to any music yesterday. So again, it's just about getting it done, one thing after the other, earlier on in the day. I'm so much better than doing things after I've stopped. Anyway, Beethoven. So I believe he was taken whilst he was at this aristocrat's house on a short trip to go and visit the local notorious, well-known and amazing piano virtuosic performer, can't remember his name now, to go and watch him perform. And this particular guy
said to Beethoven, your words spread about how incredible you are. I've seen some of your compositions, and I must admit I'm very impressed, although I think they're impossible to play. And basically goaded him and said, if you're so good, prove it and show us that you can do this. And this was a request Beethoven got a lot in his life, and he really didn't like it at all, and he had a fairly short temperament as well. But apparently he kept teasing this man until Beethoven finally gave in, and then obviously he was silenced and was at least humble enough to say, thou perhaps more able on the pianoforte than I stand corrected. Something along those lines anyway. So that was pretty cool. There's a little bit about a couple of people that he was interested in kind of romantically, but it seems that he was that bad in terms of flirting and such like, that his friends played a joke with him one night at a bar, or an inn as they probably called it then, and basically paid a waitress to pretend to flirt with him just to wind him up, because he was that bad at it that he couldn't stand it if people flirted with him, and in the end he got fed up and stormed out apparently, but nothing that we didn't expect from Mr. Beethoven, of course. Yeah, so the other thing is the person that he'd gone to go and see on that little trip, the pianist, had really impressed Beethoven in the sense that Beethoven was quite often known for being rude and aggressive on the pianoforte. And having listened to this guy, Beethoven's kind of mind was open to a new world of playing melodies and writing things that were also beautiful rather than just dramatic and basically pretty much insane. And this was only at the age, it was only 1920 at the time, so this was obviously the birth of him coming up with countless melodies. I'm sure he wrote plenty of good ones before that, but anyway, bit of pointless info for you guys. Okay, it's day 15 practice time. There's some good news and bad news. The good news is I located the music again to the arrangement of Bohemian Rhapsody that I'm going to work on. The bad news is PTSD. It was inside the Schubert. I know. One of these days I'll do this. Maybe after all this practice over the summer, my arms will be able to get all the way through it without dying. But there we go. Anyway, I'm going to remove this book once I've taken out the Bohemian Rhapsody music. I'm going to get cracking on it. Okay. Because of the nature of this arrangement, there are a lot of parts of it where you're not playing much within each beat, and then you'll maybe go into straight quavers or semi-quavers, triplets, and then you're going to like hemi-demi semi-quavers. It's ridiculous. I'm pretty certain I'm about 90% accurate in most of this, but this is going to definitely need some metronome work, and I've even written where the beats of the bar in some of it, because sometimes as you're reading it and just playing it, it's almost impossible to see. So I'm just going to do a little bit of metronome practice now on these two bars that I'm finding tricky. That's the hardest bit, fitting that all into one beat or two quaver beats. And then landing right on the first beat of the next bar to get the... And so on, I'm playing it quicker because that bit's easier. Okay, left hand, this is harder.
don't know. It's sometimes hard to tell. Okay, the hard part is doing it together, so we're gonna have to slow this down a bit, I think. I thought it was too slow at first, obviously not. That's it, I think we can try and do that a little bit quicker now. Maybe not. Trouble is, going at that slower speed, I end up doing this bit too fast. But anyway, I'm going to try it once without the metronome, a little bit quicker. The problem being is I'm focusing largely on the left hand because it's doing all of this. It's going all over the place, and then I was losing track of the right hand. But when I get to know it a little bit better and I'm kind of starting to memorise some of the right hand patterns, it'll be easier to focus on that. But anyway, I'll keep cracking on. This is going to be a long work in progress. That's the first time since starting this that I've got the entire way through the programme. I haven't done the Rebecca Clark to the standard that I would like today, I've just given it a play through. But it is the first time I've done all three in one day. Plus, don't forget, and it's going to start getting a little bit late for putting this in the comments now, but this is the last week. If you've got any suggestions for a small 5-minute max piece, looking for something that's not in the top kind of everybody knows piano pieces, I want something different. That's the whole point of this recital. The music that I've never played before, tried learning but gave up pretty quickly on, or just a challenge. So if you do have any ideas, drop it in the comments. But that is practice done for the day. 90 minutes. Haven't done that much for quite some time. Whew. Right, well enough now then. Welcome to day 17. I was going to try and do 3k today, and as you can see I've managed an extra half a k, but I'm struggling. Probably the heat. I need to get home for a drink. Well, at least I've done more. I'll catch you later. You know what, it's quite interesting the way we talk about motivation. And motivation is a strange word, I need to look it up in the dictionary. But motivation isn't what gets things done. Because the trouble is, I guess, motivation is a desire to do something, to achieve something or an end goal. Sorry, I'm so thirsty. But the trouble is, on the days I don't have motivation, I don't care about the end goal either. And I think to myself, what am I doing this for? I mean, I'll get to the end of it and be like, great, I've done an 8-week challenge. I'm a bit fitter. But unless I put myself through it again, I'm going to go back to how I was before.
So if I'm going to maintain it and carry on, like, why? Yeah, I mean, obviously currently I know when you get through a little while of it, it improves, but currently I feel like rubbish. I've never felt sick like I have these last 2 times going out running, and yes, the heat may have a part to play in it. I do struggle with running and eating beforehand, so I just had a really small lunch 3 hours before I went running, so it could be that. So I'm gonna have to try putting the run at the beginning of the day before I eat, and maybe before it starts getting too hot, and see if that helps. But as I was saying, motivation doesn't make you get up every day, so the consistency comes through. Oh great, I'm that tired I can't even remember the word. There's no opening. Flipping heck. I'll get back to you on that one. Aha! It's called getting old, forgetting things 5 seconds before you knew them. Discipline. Discipline is doing something whether you want to do it or not, but I guess you know it's good for you or for someone, or will achieve a goal. Now, people say it's really hard to make it as a professional solo musician or a footballer. There's so many people wanting to do it and not enough jobs in those kind of higher paid ranges. Well, actually, the problem isn't that. The problem is that 9 people out of 10 are not willing to put in that work every day, even when they don't want to, and they still put 100% into it. I've forgotten the word again. Begins with D. Discipline. They have the discipline to do it when they don't want to. I remember, my arm's aching now, I'm going to swap. So hot. Whew. I remember when I was at music school thinking we had a certain amount of hours we had to practice, and it was roughly about the 6 hours mark. So they were long days because they of course incorporated normal school lessons as well. And I always thought the people that I saw at the end of a long 12-hour day going back down to the practice halls to do more were either really weird, sad, or just insane. But actually, they're the people that we should look to and look up to, because they're the ones that had discipline. They're the ones, if I recall, think of names, I'm not going to say names, but people who I recognised had that discipline. I can't think of any that aren't making a success out of performing. Then you look at people like Ronaldo, Messi, still at their ages, turning up to training before everybody else, staying after training to practice free kicks, whatever it might be. Not that that's been helping Messi with penalties lately. So, you know, if you want to achieve something, whatever it is, in your own world, own scale, global scale, whatever it is, you can only look back with regrets if you don't put the discipline in and don't rely on motivation. Otherwise you've got nobody else to blame but yourself. On that note, I'm nearly home, which means even though I don't want to do it, I'm going to have a drink, let my heart rate drop a little bit further, and do some practice. Over and out. Hey guys, and welcome to day 18. I think I've got it right. 15, 16, yeah, day 18. Got quite a lot to tell you today. So I'm out on my active stuff right now. I have already been for a walk with my dad this morning, which was really nice, but I'm just getting out for another one now. So, yesterday I didn't listen to any music, but on Tuesday, as you'll have seen, I was, and I listened to all of Rachmaninoff's piano concertos, basically. But today, I listened to something I never knew existed, which was some music by Mozart's son, called Franz Xaver Mozart. Now, this ties in because at school we do like a piano competition, and we try and get in like a concert pianist to come and do the judging and do a masterclass. And I thought about someone that I've known of for a long time, did meet him many years ago, called Robert Markham. So when I looked him up to do a bit of research, turns out he's been an advocate for making recordings of Mozart's son's music. So I decided I was going to listen to some of that. And then interestingly, I went on a little rabbit hole of learning about Mozart's son, who was taught by none other than Salieri, who one of the conspiracy theories was that he poisoned Mozart, the father Mozart, which wasn't true. And also taught by Hummel, who is very well known for having written some incredible studies and piano works. And this was all overseen by Haydn. Not only that, but in the latter part of his life, Franz Mozart became really good friends with Schubert. How bizarre. I wonder, had his last name not been Mozart, whether those doors would have opened for him or not. But Franz basically was more of a pianist and conductor than a composer, and he even performed quite a lot of his dad's piano works, and he also conducted a performance of his Requiem Mass. Imagine that, conducting the Requiem Mass that your own dad had written whilst he was dying and had played at his own funeral. It's just crazy, isn't it? So this weekend it's going to be a bit of a trickier one, because we're going away on Saturday for a couple of nights to go to Bike Park, Wales, of which I've got to partake in the dangerous mountain biking down Scilly mountains. So it's going to be harder to do a lot of these things. I'm obviously going to be active. I could do things like the push-ups and stuff like that and listen to music and read my book, but I'm not going to be able to do the practice for 3 days, realistically. But I've been doing well with that. And as you'll see, I've done some practice today. Now, what I practiced today was something quite interesting. Yeah, so basically, at the start of September, at school we do our speech day where all the awards get given out, and we do that at the City Hall in Hull. So I get to play the magnificent organ. Now, despite our efforts in the past, I've not been able to have any time to actually get to know the instrument and practice on it. It has 4 manuals, 4 keyboards, and generally speaking, the most I ever get to play is 3, if I'm lucky, but usually 2. So it opens up all sorts of different things that you can do. But this time, we've managed to secure a couple of hours for me to go and practice on it a couple of days before the event, which is great. So I delved into my old friend Tom from music school, who I went to go and see his brother's organ recital last year, if you remember, with Hugh. Went onto their website and had a look for some of Jonathan's arrangements, and I found one of the overture to the, you guessed it, Mozart, Marriage of Figaro. So in my practice today, I've been kind of working on the keyboard part. The only downside is that obviously when you don't have an organ at home, it's difficult to practice the coordination of feet and hands, but there's no point going down to church to start practicing that coordination until I can proficiently play the keyboard part, which won't take me too long. There are a couple of nasty corners. It's actually slightly harder in the sense that parts of it are made to be played with one hand on different keyboards, whereas at the moment they're bumping into each other. So I think after we get back from Wales I'll probably do that and go and have a go on the organ at church and just see where I'm at with it pedal wise and things like that. Okay, now I've done my book reading every day, and again I've made some notes because I'm going to forget. It just shows how, and this is my book about Beethoven, it just shows how many connections there were, which just amazes me all the more in a time where there was no telephone, email, WhatsApp. Incredible, really. But anyway, Beethoven being a pupil of Haydn at the point that they were about to kind of split from each other as they were moving on to different things, Haydn had instructed Beethoven that he wanted his name put on the music in terms of like a contributor name, I guess, which basically Beethoven said no to. So they kind of fell out amicably, I guess, if you could say. And then something else that came up that was really interesting was that when Beethoven came to perform his first piano concerto in concert, when he got to the rehearsal the day before, the piano was a semitone low. So he basically at the rehearsal transposed an entire piano concerto down a semitone and performed it in that different key from what he'd written it in as well, which is a bit of a pain if you've written, which it is, in C major, this first piano concerto, then having to play it in 5 sharps in B major. But you know, if anybody can do it. And in the same week that he did that, he also performed one of Mozart's piano concertos. We're not sure which, but it was at like a charity benefit event that was set up by Mozart's widow, Constanza. Yeah, so Haydn had gone on his own way, and he'd actually been in London for a year being wined and dined, basically. And when he came back, he came to watch a performance of Beethoven's 3 piano trios, and to get his own back for Beethoven not agreeing to put his name on compositions that they'd worked on together, which probably were more so Beethoven's hand. When Beethoven went up to Haydn at the end of the concert and asked him for his opinion, he basically said, number 3, which is now regarded as the best of the 3, needs a lot of work, and I wouldn't go publishing it until you've done it, basically. Which obviously Beethoven was very upset about, you can understand, but I don't think there was too much kind of war between them. Interestingly, despite that little spat of composers, teacher, pupil, remembering Haydn was very, very well respected and well known, even for those days, Beethoven, when he published those 3 piano trios, dedicated them to Haydn. Go figure. Right, so that's the end of day 18 pretty much, guys. All other little bits and bobs that I could have done, but I feel like I've done quite a lot today. Also had a nice FaceTime with Bill, who's currently in the Philippines for a month. Sorted a few kind of work related things out with him, as well as complained about the refereeing in the World Cup and a certain someone rescinding a red card. But there we go. So tomorrow is Friday, day 19. I've got a gig tomorrow night, so I'm going to do as much as I possibly can during the day tomorrow, but considering it's going to be 30 degrees, I also don't want to completely wipe myself out and then go and do a 2-hour gig in leather jackets, if you kind of feel me. And then obviously at some point got to get ready and packed up for driving to Wales on Saturday lunchtime. So I shall sign off until tomorrow, guys. Day 19. Did not go well. So basically I had like a gig and I ended up doing nothing other than getting prepared for that during the day. So that was pretty disappointing, but there we go. Okay, so we're on day 20 now. I'm basically bringing the piano back to church and getting that all set up. And, well, in a couple of hours, I'm going to go and drive to Wales. So, kind of doing Bike Park Wales, doing a bit of a kind of biking holiday, which obviously makes sense because I've just said we're going to Bike Park Wales. And then as a last minute addition, we're going to go for a couple of nights to... I'll put it on the screen because I can't remember what it's called now, but it's about another 2.5 hours south from there, where there's apparently some really nice beach with a cove and stuff that apparently a child would like to visit. So we're going to go and do that for a couple of nights as well, and then hopefully get back in time for the England match semi-final on the Wednesday if we get through tonight. Now obviously it's going to be difficult for me to do a lot of the things as part of my, as I've mentioned before, 75 Hard Musician Edition, which is things like the practice and stuff like that. But I'm going to try and do what I can. I'm going to take my book on Beethoven. I'm going to be active throughout the whole few days, obviously, as well. And if I can do, might even get a chance to do a quick 10-minute follow-along workout or something. But we'll see how it goes anyway. But so this might be the last you hear from me, other than some kind of picturesque, beautiful videos from the next few days. But then we'll have to kind of resume everything properly next Thursday, which could also be difficult because I'm going out for the day to York with Hugh to go and see Jonathan Scott, who wrote that arrangement of the Marriage of Figaro I mentioned, in performing at York Minster. But we're going to kind of make a day of it. So I'm probably not going to get any practice in that day either. I'll get lots of steps in though. So, anyway, ciao for now. Oh! Jeez. All I can hear is rattling. Fudge. Oh. A man never blames his tools, but I think I'd have good reason here. I want to break free. It's getting bigger. I want to break free. Whoa. Where's sugar? Okay, there we go. Where is he? Well, hey guys, and it is day... I had figured it out. 21. And I'm in Wales. So today, we've been at Bike Park Wales all day. It's been absolutely scorching hot, but it's been a fab day. Just got attacked. And again, that was silly, picking it up. My £100 mountain bike from Facebook Marketplace has got its limitations. I did have an issue with both wheels at one point not staying on, but what can you do? I did manage to get a couple of pictures and videos of the day and of me doing one of the trails, so I shall put that on here afterwards. But yeah, it's been a great day. Tomorrow is obviously the start of a new video and week. We're doing the same tomorrow, Bike Park Wales. Ow. Yeah, we're a stone's throw away effectively from Bike Park Wales where we're staying, but there's no access to it, so you've got to drive 20 minutes in this big, ridiculous, kind of crazy loop. So I thought I'd come out and have a little look, because the guy we're renting the place from said, oh yeah, you can just go down there, go along the old railway line, then you go up the hill and it joins up with one of the trails. Well, according to Google Maps, I am now walking away from Bike Park Wales, so clearly it's not this way, but it just seemed very nice down here, so I thought I'd keep taking a bit of a walk. I have read my Beethoven book this evening, so I've got quite a lot to tell you, but I think that's going to be easier when I get back home later in the week. But yeah, otherwise loads of steps, loads of activity obviously, lots of water, but it's beautiful here. Right, catch you later guys.